Hello everyone, this is Kent Smith. I am here to talk to you about Tackk.com. I chose this particular tool because it's a very simple, very easy to use tool to develop multimedia pages. So I intend to use this in my classroom for individuals and group projects as an option for students to present their work and to get creative with it. One of the options with Tackk.com is that you can actually start creating without logging into an account. It's good to be able to go in there and just get started, but if you don't log in, once you publish that tag and you publish that page, you can't go back in to modify it. If we wanted to do that and we wanted to just get started, come over here to this little pencil and click on it, and then it would give us some options to get started. But of course, I want to log in because I want to be able to modify my tag once I publish it. So the good thing about signing in is that I can use my Google account to sign in. I don't have to sign up. I'll go ahead and log in. Alright, once we come up here on your home feed, if you had any tags that you had published, they would be right up front, right up top, so that you can, you can click them. You can also search, and there's something that we'll go into once we produce a tag that you can search for particular tags. Right now I want to create something, so we'll go ahead and go over here to the pencil, and we will go down and choose. So for school, I want to use school project. These are different formats. They have just a blank canvas, and then there are options to be able to do different formats that are kind of formatted for you. So we'll choose school project. All right, and these are all the options over here on the right hand side. We'll get into those in a minute, but we'll just go ahead and put some stuff down, and then we can mess with the options. All right, so we're going to title this American Bison. All right, very simple. Throw our title up there, and the next thing that it recommends is for us to add some photos. Sounds like a good idea, so we'll go ahead and add some photos. They do have their own library of photos that you can search from, or you can upload photos. You can take it from Instagram, URL, different options for you to be able to bring photos into your presentation here and into your page. So I'm going to go ahead and search for photos of bison, and then we can just scroll over until I find one that I particularly like, and then we'll add that in there. And I think I like this one right here with the sunset. And so since we're done searching, we can go ahead and close that out and look at the picture. I think it looks good, so we can click done, and that'll post the picture to that tag. And then we can add, if we wanted to add some text, we can put something in here. So talk about the population of bison being over 500,000, but only 30,000 of them are wild. All right, and that's our text. So we have other options. Once we get down here, and we can just start adding a headline. That'll give us that bold type that we had up at the top again. Text, you can see that right above here. Photo, we already did. Video, same process. You just add the video in there. Audio as well. A button, we're going to add a button here in a minute. We could add a map, and sell, we're clearly not going to do that. We don't want to sell anything. We don't need a form, but if we were to add any other media. Another thing that you can use is RSVP. So if you're doing a fundraiser, or you're doing a charity event, and you want people to RSVP, throw the RSVP in there, and it gives you an option for individuals, so they can say yes or no if you want that. All right, if you're going to add that in there, and we'll just go ahead and delete that off, remove the item, and it's gone. All right, what I do want to do is I want to add a button that has a link. So the buttons typically have your links on there, and what I want to use is I want to use the link. I want to link this over to the IUCN Red List. So I have the URL right there. I'm going to copy it, and then I can drop it right in here, and then I can change the title of the button, and I want to call that the IUCN Red List. All right, once we're done, we like it, go ahead and click apply, and that's on there as well. All right, so once we publish, that's what it would look like. one of the good things about Tackk is that you have a comment stream. So individuals can, once we publish and we send out the link, individuals can come on here, other students can come on and put their comments in, and add to it. The owner can then go back in and they can delete comments. If somebody puts something inappropriate or, it's just not what you want on there, then you can go ahead and delete those comments. So it doesn't affect anything. Let's go back over here and we're going to look at some of the options. So on the colors, like the background colors, just simple squares, or you can choose to use palettes where everything's a little more coordinated. It gives you, there are quite a few here to choose from, and we'll just use raindrops. There's also the fonts where you can change the fonts. So if I wanted to change it to the Hammersmith, then I can change that to Hammersmith, or I can just use bitter. All right, and then patterns. So if you want to add patterns to the actual background, it's not showing up on my computer, but there are patterns. So if I want to do flowers, it'll show up with little flowers once it's published. All right, and then we have some other options. And of course, this is very important. Once we get to publishing, we want to look at the options. If we set it to public, then you can go in and search, and that's important to be able to go in and search for particular tags without having to have the website, the web address, the URL. If you set it to private, you can set it there. You can password protect it and really restrict who can get into that particular tag board. So here, another option that we have is on the actual tag board. You can add things. It's kind of like the hashtag, right? So if I want everybody in my classroom to use the same tag board, that makes it easy for me to be able to search, and I can find everyone's projects that in my classroom. So if I want to do that, I can title it. I'll say THS for Topeka High School, and we'll say Mr. Smith. All right, once I add that, then I can go back in later and I can search Tackk for anything that has that particular tag board, and it should populate all of the tags that my students have put together. And then I can add it, biology 1, 2, 3, whatever period I'm in. All right, we can change the title here. We can add a photo background if you wanted to upload a photo to the background instead of the color or the pattern. The remove ads, that's a premium, and the custom domain, that's also a premium that we're not going to pay for. We want to use this free version. Now once we publish the tag, it will give us a URL right here, and we can use that to send out to other people. So right now, and then comment stream, you can turn that on or off. So if you don't want comments, you can just as easily turn that off, and no one will be able to comment on your tag. We're going to leave that on. Right, so the rounded corners, that's just the formatting, whether right up here on the corner, whether that's square or round. We're going to go ahead and publish this tag. All right, and it takes a second. And then right here, it will give us the URL. So we hit copy. And once it copies, it'll say copied. All right, and then what we can do is we can just send that out to individuals, and they'll be able to see what the finished product looks like. So I'm going to open this up in another window and see if I can bring this up. So we can go ahead and paste that URL in and get it to load here. And once it is loaded, we can see what it would actually look like for someone who receives that link. So you can see those little flower patterns in there, and we can just scroll down and see everything. And if we were to click on the link, it will take us to that IUCN red list. Now, one of the other options is with that comment stream that I was talking about earlier. Anyone can actually comment. They don't have to have a login. They can just type their name in here, and then they can add their comments. So we'll just say this is student 1, and then it'll give us the option to add in a comment, and we'll say I like the picture. All right, and once we add that, then that will actually become part of that comment stream. And there we go, it's been added on there. And so if we go back to our original tag, we should be able to see that on there. So this is what it'll look like, for someone who just gets that particular URL that you send to it. It also gives you some information on who created it. You can follow them and then, you know, some other options if you wanted to share it, or you could actually copy it into your own once you log into your account, and then you could modify it. So let's go back over to our original, and if we scroll down, what we should get is we should be able to see that comment. All right, and there we go. We see the comment from student 1, and then we can move right over here, and if we didn't like that comment, we can just click on the little trash can and we would be able to remove that. But we don't want to remove it, so we'll just go ahead and hit cancel. All right, so this is what Tackk.com looks like. It's a very easy tool to be able for students to be able to put together that multimedia presentation, you know, and get creative about it. So with that being said, I believe this meets the ISTE standard, the student standard of S3C, which states that students curate information from digital resources using a variety of tools and methods to create collections of artifacts that demonstrate meaningful connections and or conclusions. So, you know, clearly students are bringing together information and they're putting it together in this project. So, you know, demonstrating the connections between the information. So that's why I feel that it meets that standard. And then for educators, I believe that it meets the ISTE standard of E6D, which is model and nurture creativity and creative expression to communicate ideas, knowledge, or connections. So again, we are facilitating, we're helping those students be creative by using this particular tool. It's very easy to use and allows them to get creative with how they produce their projects. All right, so thanks for listening, and if you have any comments, go ahead and place them down below. Thank you.